What's going on, YouTube? We got the ladies in the building today. Give it up, give it up, give it up for the beautiful women in the building. What is good, ladies? What is good? We got to give y'all a round of applause. All right. So what's going on, ladies? How was y'all Memorial's Day this week?
Fun.
It was cute. It was real cute.
It was
So much fun. Good times were had.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm happy to hear that. So, grown women talking. We got some talking to do this week. Some real good talks has to be had this week, right? We got Portia in the building for the first time. Give it up for Portia.
Hey, girl.
And real quick, before we start the show, kid, please, let's go over your upcoming event that you got going.
Come on, man.
Oh, thank you. So we are doing a gummy class. So if you are one who likes gummy candies, I am actually teaching a course on how to make infused gummy candy on the 30th. It's actually in 2 days at 7:30. It will be a live class. I will make sure that we put the link up so that you guys can sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll go through all the do's, the don'ts, the pitfalls, and how to make your delicious treats at home. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hope that you guys get to join.
Awesome.
That's
Is
what's
it going to
up.
be
That's
in
what's up.
person or is it on live?
So it's a live class that's actually in person and online. So if people are local and they want to drop in and come and check it out, they'll be able to sign up at the link. If people are taking it at home, they'll be able to sign up for the link as well and get the link so that they can join the class as we go on.
That's what's
Okay.
up. I like it.
It's gonna be a good time.
Right.
Like,
Oh
it's
man,
gonna be a good
I'm looking
time.
forward. I'm looking forward to getting high. Well, I don't get high, but all right. So, Portia, I know you and your husband got a lot of things in the works. As far as your businesses go, you want to give a few shout outs before we jump into the show?
Yeah, so we have the Enoch LLC, which is our dump truck company. So we're always looking to promote that in any possible way to from hauling dirt, gravel, sand, demolition, any of that. Of course, Trey is a realtor as well, so definitely want to shout him out for that.
Yeah.
And of course, we're trying to establish the YouTube channel, which is Intellect Ignited, and get that going off the ground as well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. Next time we got to put your YouTube handle on there too, so that way people could, you know what I mean, get that going for you. So Judge Justified and More Real Talk and D May Moore, please follow their channels. Get in tune because they got some fire, yo. They got some fire. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the ladies. Period. My wife, she is building this business we got going on. You know what I'm saying? So this is a good thing. Also, hit her up for, if y'all want to talk about just making up adulting, right? If y'all want to get into what it's like to be a mama and fully understand what it's like from the female, the woman perspective, hit up my wife on MUA. Go ahead, honey. You want to tell them a little bit about it?
Well, I do still have my YouTube channel up, so you could definitely still check out some of my archive work. We're still working on some new material, but definitely Dion MUA is on YouTube as well as the IG. So come check me out, see what I was going through and what I'm doing now. And let's make up adulting together. Let's figure this thing out.
Let's get that popping. Let's get it popping. All right, ladies. All right, let's get into the show. Before y'all actually come, when you come in the door, do me a favor and hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And share the content, y'all. Let's get the word out there. Let's get the word out there. Hit the like button,
Sharing is
subscribe,
caring.
share the content. Let me put my band up real quick just in case y'all need a reminder. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. All right, y'all. So our first topic is it's a little wild. It's a little wild. I'm gonna share my screen with y'all real quick. Yeah, a little spicy. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna share my screen with y'all. Now it's not actual words. We just gonna read it off, right? Just could y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We can hear some ringing too.
somebody's phone going off. All right. So this one says Candace Owens says pornography should be banned. It is. Yo, there's a lot of movement going on over there. It's a psychological weapon that weakens our men, right? So, she goes on to obviously have that in her stories or whatever they call it, and then Cardi B decides she wants to chime in and say it's actually she said how it's actually should teach men how to please women. So, ladies, with that being said, do y'all feel as if pornography is something that should teach men how to please women? Talk to me.
No.
I can understand
No?
both point of views.
Full stop. Period. No comma.
No.
Yeah.
No? Just like that? No.
Because
That's not.
I mean, because it's number one, pornography is so damaging to you, period. Like to see constant images or watching that stuff. We can get into all of that later on the numbers and the drastic effects it has on you. But if you're looking to please women, you should be looking to figure out whatever woman you're dealing with, how does she like to be pleased? Because pornography gives off very unrealistic expectations of what's going to happen in the bedroom. It's very dramatic. Some of it can be scripted. Like this is people's, this is their job. So, as much as fun as it probably looks, it's probably not that fun. It's scripted. It's not real.
Not a rug burn involved.
Yes. Like it's no. It's a no.
It's a no for you?
Not to mention, like, there's desensitization and all that stuff that comes about from pornography.
Yep.
There's desensitization. There's like, I mean, and I'm gonna put it out there. I'm coming from the Christian realm, whereas and to say that's your intimate moment, and the whole fact that you're watching what is supposed to be a intimate moment is just, I don't know, it's whack to me.
Okay. Portia, what's your thoughts on this one?
Well, I can see both point of views because porn can be damaging, especially if you're not mature enough and you're watching it. And then at the same time, it can possibly teach somebody something that they don't know, a male anyway. But at the same time, I do agree with the sacral position of everything too, to where being intimate with somebody should not be broadcasted. But if it's their job, then that's what they do. They're going to broadcast. So they're doing it to please some people because, there are people that are afraid to date. So they go to porno for their pleasure or whatever. So you get a lot of different point of views. Learning how to please them, possibly, but I think that, if you're in a relationship, of course you shouldn't go to porn directly to learn. You should learn your mate, and you should take that time to learn your mate, to figure out how they like to be pleased, and vice versa. They should learn how to please you. You shouldn't take porn to, get the foot rolling on that. Desensitization, definitely though, for sure. Um, but
She's
in a certain way, desensitization, like
But I
because if
mean,
you go
I'm looking at
overboard with it,
this.
like you just become numb. Like you probably
Mm.
prefer like porn over your actual partner. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But I look at it like this too. If it's some of their first experiences with sex and seeing what happens and all that other stuff, like, for young individuals and that's their first experience, when they experience it, they're gonna be like, oh, how come she's not shouting like this and she's not, and you get what I'm saying? It's like a whole like misdirection there
That's why I
rather
said
than
maturity
learning. That's what I'm saying. Like, and even what you said before, like learning your partner, seeing what pleases specifically that person, and you know, sharing that moment.
for sure.
I think with Cardi B, her response was more coming from, I mean, like, let's not forget she was in somewhat, I guess if you want to call it the adult industry, because she was exotic dancer. What are we calling them now? I don't know.
Yeah.
Stripper. So she was coming from that's where she originated from as people were knowing her, being a dancer. I don't like calling them dancer. Stripper. A stripper and a internet personality. And then she got on Love and Hip Hop. So I feel like her perspective is coming from an over sexualized market anyway. And
Yeah.
definitely like with her type of rap, she's very sexual in what she talks about, what she wears. So I don't think it's very, foreign for her to say something like that. I'm not really surprised. Honestly. Um, yeah, I'm really not surprised at all, to be
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
honest. But I could definitely understand that's where she's coming from that perspective, because that's all she surrounded herself with for the most part for the last what 10, 15 years or so. So now as it relates to relationally, I think we all, it sounds like we have a agreement on there's unrealistic expectations. There it's definitely there's a psychological aspect to it where it can hurt, I think, men and women, where because Candace touched on it just being psychologically damaging to men. I think definitely there's a component of where it could be damaging to women. Um, being a addiction to that is a real thing, and it can affect men as well as women. And as far as even I know people that their marriage ended because of that, that I don't know to what degree it was dealing in their relationship, but I knew that was a component where it was just like the guy was just so into it. I don't know, you must have brought it into the bedroom or into your home to a degree where your wife didn't want to deal with it. And another person that I know was very transparent about their addiction was Kirk Franklin. I remember him and his wife had an interview on Oprah like many years ago, and he talked about his struggle with that and how it basically almost, ripped up their marriage and totaled it. But thankfully he was able to deal with whatever things that were lacking in internally for him to get away from that. But I feel like we need to I feel honestly we need to be honest about it. Like we grown. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, I mean, I'm not gonna assume. I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna be presumptuous. I'm sure everybody has looked at a flick or two. Back in the day we had the boxes,
The
the boxes
boxes.
had the special channels on it. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I
back
was
in the
like
day.
boxes. I mean,
So
I'll
you
say for
cheeking, you trying to, get the channel, whatever spice or whatever what it was ever called. So
yeah,
everybody seen some. You know what I'm saying? And I
yeah,
feel like I'm sure to a degree that has impacted us, whether it was with our partners, our spouses, our mates, of seeing that and saying, "Oh my gosh, is this how am I supposed to look? Is this how am I supposed to sound? Um, you know, why doesn't my body look like that? And it does play something, I feel like, as women, in our own minds, in our own security, and how we feel about ourselves. And once we are getting to that point with someone, what do they expect of us? Because obviously, if we saw it, he saw it. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
how does that play in our relationships? I think that's
So,
definitely an honest question we got to ask ourselves.
D-Bay, what's your thoughts on this?
I definitely do agree with the fact that it can be psychologically damning for a man and a woman. I wish I knew what the effects were. I was about to look it up real quick, but I only got my work laptop and I was like, probably not best to look that up on my work laptop. But yeah, first off, Cardi B
VPN get you
from
caught
some
up.
They gonna be like,
yeah, we're not gonna do that. Okay. But yeah, like anything Cardi B's response to anything on a topic of that matter, I would not take seriously anyway. Because she is someone who is, like we said, a very overly sexualized artist. So she's not gonna even see that, right? Um,
Yeah.
I do feel I see both sides in a sense. Like I know Jess was saying maybe for someone who is just getting to experience sexual activities, maybe, but then I feel like at the same time it's like, oh, that person may be like, well, if I do this, that person's gonna do that. She's probably not, or he's probably not. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I feel I have mixed feelings about it. I have heard a lot of people like it can become an addiction for sure. Like I know she was speaking about Kirk Franklin, or I think it was Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be really unhealthy. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I wish I could go into the stats, but I don't know what they are. So yeah.
I know it's
Kit,
becoming more of a conversation that we're having recently about it being a crisis of
Mm.
like
a
the people
crisis.
watching. Yeah, yeah. There's
So
there's been
no, so
a
I'm
couple
gonna
of
tell
things
y'all
that
what I heard. I did hear some stuff. I did definitely hear some stuff that what you're talking about, MRT. With how what it's doing to young men. But Kit, what's
yeah.
your perspective on
Oh boy. I personally feel like porn is for personal pleasures. So it would, and sexuality, especially with a partner, is a joint experience and a very individualized experience. So you have six different women here who are going to like some things that will overlap and then some things won't. And that means that you would have to actually learn the individual in that sexual realm in order to be able to be intimate in that way. I think when we look at pornography as a tool to please the partner, it's a farce because we don't know if the behaviors of the people on that video are going to be, synonymous with the behaviors of the person that we're dealing with. And then now we've made the assumption that one will overlap with the other. And just like I said, we might have overlap even here on this panel, but there are a lot of places that we may not overlap at all. And getting to know the individual and dealing with them in that way ensures that you can understand what their sexual prowess is and how to deliver in that manner. Now, can pornography give you, I guess, if you like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to, try that position where I put my foot on the shoulder and see, if that's something she might be interested in. That's a little different, you know what I'm saying? But to assume that that's the way to please all women is where you kind of be like, okay, bro, why is your toes on my shoulder? So, definitely need to make sure that we're looking at it from a very individualistic perspective and making sure that we're understanding that when people look at porn, the reason, okay, case in point with an addiction, right? When people take meth, they're not taking it because they want to make the other person high. They're taking it for their own self gratification to either forget, remember, whatever the case is that they are in that addiction, right? But But if you
Put on the
come on,
shoulders is crazy, yo. That's crazy.
That's
but
out of
but
all you
no, but
said, that's
if
You
what he
gotta be
got.
doing some yoga or some Pilates for that.
you
Stretching
understand what
out.
I'm saying,
Real
Tell that
that's what
lady
workout.
that's
fresh salute.
you know. But if we're looking at it like when people are looking at porn, they're not looking at it with the thought of, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. This is gonna please my mate. Oh, this is how I'm learning. The same, and I feel like can some of those things overlap? And they, like I said, well, can they say, okay, well, maybe I might want to try this? Yes, but is it the overall, end all tell all? No. And I think once we really
Mhm.
start looking at it from an individualistic perspective versus a grouped, event, then it kind of changes the perspective on how we look at pornography, and not even to mention, like you ladies said, the damaging effects that it can have when it crosses over into what reality should be. I mean, we know of. I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever seen like the dude that married the doll that he bought, and they've been
A
married
woman
like
did
maybe
that
20
too.
years now.
A
Real
lady
talk.
did that too and
So
had black
like, I
babies.
mean, he dressed her up. Look,
But it's
they're
like
gonna
this
put a
though.
new
Like,
with
where
rubbers.
do you think we would draw the line though before it crosses over into that? Because some people may not see a problem
Oh
with
man.
watching it, once a week, twice a week. But
Right.
as you kind of like consume what you watch, um, like how do you differentiate when you're crossing over into that boundary of like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you need to slow down on all of this? Because I feel like even from watching one video, like uh Miss Dion said, like when you watch one video, sometimes your brain picks up so much subconsciously, you'll see images. You can see the pictures come back to you. And that's from like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So imagine if somebody's spending 30 minutes a week or 4 times a day, like you begin to go out in the world and your mind can't come out of that. So it's like, how do we
Mhm.
stop it before we
But
get to that point?
even think about the scientific realm of it, like as in to say it raises the dopamine levels. So when it raises
Mm-hmm.
dopamine levels, there's going to be a point where it's going to kind of like plateau, and you're
So yeah.
trying to kind of go a little bit further, and you're going to go probably looking for something crazier to try and
Yeah.
meet those dopamine levels. You got to understand the science of it as well. So
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, it's like a black hole. You just go deeper and
Well,
deeper.
that's just with any addiction. That's just how it
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
Any
True.
addiction is gonna do you like that.
Yeah.
Once you start it and you're like, oh, I
you
like
got the
this.
satisfaction for the moment.
it's
Mm-hmm.
Right.
kind of like
You're
knowing
gonna
when you
do
have
it for the first
it's
time.
it's almost like when you're like if you're going out and you're drinking, right? And like and I'm sure this has happened to at least one or two of y'all where you're drinking and someone hands you another drink and you're looking at that drink real suspiciously, like, I know I shouldn't drink you, but we don't waste around here. So now I gotta drink you, but I'm really rethinking my life choices right now. Like,
Yeah.
and then you
That's
drink it, and
great.
then you're sitting there, and you're like,
Shouldn't
I
have drank
really
that.
shouldn't have drank that last
I
drink.
was thinking, I guess we're gonna see what
Like,
happens now.
but you see,
That
but
literally
it's,
happened to
it's
me
kind of
yesterday.
like that. It's like it's that finite line,
Yeah.
right? Of knowing
Mm.
where you've had enough, where
Yeah.
enough should
Mhm.
be enough, and like that line stops, like where reality stops, and and well,
Fantasy
reality
or
starts and like the
yeah.
party stops. It's kind of like that,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
knowing when you've had one too many, or you that last drink
You
may be
consume
the
too much.
catalyst to
Yeah.
take you over.
Right.
You know.
That's a
Oh
tough
man,
one
Kenny said you usually hand that drink to me.
You know
Well
what?
then.
That's my
All
bestie,
right.
and
So
he's such a
Kenny,
dick.
stop telling her business. Mind your business,
You
Kenny. Don't
know
do that.
exactly. Oh, you so like I swear to
But I
God.
did want to read something that I just looked up on the National Library of Medicine. So it says that it's an article about pornography. It says pornography consumption and cognitive affective distress. So here it says Research of addictive behavior related to pornography suggests that approximately 56% of men experience pornography as a form of relaxation, decreasing subjective feelings of tension. Other findings indicate that a large proportion of individuals involved in online pornography consumption are mainly seeking sexual relaxation and feelings of satisfaction related to masturbation. That's obvious. Some findings also suggest that the internet pornography related addictive behavior might cause subjectively negative sexual experiences and increase sensitivity to stimuli and can cause symptoms of craving related to masturbation experiences and fetishisms.
Mhm.
So on the male perspective, right? I do believe that porn can be a serious issue when it comes down to, how often you consume it. It could be very relaxing though. And it could be something to where, oh, sleeping it. Yo, fresh. You said it. Relaxation. So it could be something that could be relaxing for men, right? Where it's like, yo, I'm gonna watch porn real quick, rub one out, and go to bed. Call it a day, right? But I would say for me, right? So my personally, I'm gonna get a little personal, but I ain't gonna get crazy with it, right? Because this is a family show. This is a family show. So I'm not gonna get crazy with it, but I do, you do have those more. I remember being younger, right? And I found porn. It was the box, right? My dad had a box full of like, and I just happened to, I happened to be in the washroom and I looked behind the dryer area and I found it and it was like finding gold. I was like, oh, that's how grown women look. I was like 13, yo. Actually, I might have been a little younger. I probably was like 11. And I was like, yo, that's how women look. Naked. They don't look like my mom. All right, so I ended up just saying. So
He grew up in a West Indian
when
household, y'all.
yo, my mom was very bold with it. She was she was out there. She'll come out and walk around the house naked all day. So so when you that's what she would say too. It's her house, it's my house. Right? So I ended up, getting into it where it was like, yo, it was crazy. It was like 5 times a day. I was going in 5 times a day. And it didn't stop. But then the moment I realized that things could happen after you continue, I continue. Right? So, as a boy, it was wild because you didn't really, you're now learning this part of your body. You're now kind of getting into this stuff, right? And then on top of it, like you start now looking at girls different. So I started going and hitting the streets and I just, I felt like look at my wife, right? I know she looking at me like, this nigga here. Things I didn't know about my husband.
Pull it back.
Things I did not know about my husband.
We just gonna pray.
But it was a real thing, yo. Them VHS tapes was like, it was everything, it created my whole life. And it made me feel like, yo, I'm a man at this point. And it does, after a while, it did make me feel desensitized to women to a degree. But not to the degree y'all think of, right? It's almost like, it was to the degree of like, okay, I want women so bad. I want them so bad. Now I'm starting to actually have sex. I'm experiencing life for what it is. Cool. I think what desensitizes men more to how women are is how y'all dress today. Not y'all. No woman on this panel. I'm speaking to the anomaly, right? We talking about the sexy reds of the world. So those type of women desensitize men to women's bodies. But porn does have create unrealistic expectations for sex for men. Because there was times where and I'm not going to talk about me here, hun. I'm leaving me out of this, right? I talk to other men. And other men told me that when they watched so much porn, they tried to reenact it with a lot of the women they were with, and it turned the women off. So that's the part where I see porn being something that's heavy, 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 that can hit men. But it's still relaxing though. Even if now you gotta just straight use your memory banks. The older you get, the more experience you get. You with your wife, she not around. You start remembering the things she did to you last week. All right, cool. I'm cool. I can rub one out and go to sleep. But
Yeah.
she ain't around. What you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hit the streets. I gotta rub one out. So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. It is a it is a thing that has desensitized women. Hold up, man. Y'all, I'm being very careful on what I'm saying here, right? Not only is my wife over here, but this is a family show. This is a family.
But I think even the part that you're talking about relaxation, right? The relaxation and masturbation go hand in hand, but they're not synonymous. They don't mean the same. Like you can masturbate and feel the relaxation after you reach your climax. You have your orgasm. Everybody want to go to sleep. They want to make a sandwich, whatever the case may be. That's their business. That's how you're supposed to feel. It's you're getting what is it? What's the dopamine is being released from your brain. You're supposed to feel like that. But what we're talking about is the actual. Yes, we're talking about the images. There's nothing relaxing about watching two people go. No.
To you, speak for women. You can't speak for men.
No
Speak for men.
About ding dong. I got your pizza.
Listen, it's relaxing as hell to watch that.
No, that's not relaxing.
How you gonna
Be
say
for
that's
real.
not relaxing? How you going? You're speaking from a woman's perspective. I'm speaking from the male perspective. What we find relaxing about it.
So the storyline is stimulating.
Pause. Let me tell you why it's relaxing for men, right? Because we are very visual. So to know that about a man is to truly understand a man. We're not just men that just sit there and could just only use your imagination all the time. Sometimes that gets you there. And knowing that if you understand, man, you wouldn't even get mad. You'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. Because that's how we are.
And that's the part that you're misconstruing. My understanding is I understand the visual aspect of that. I'm talking about it actually being relaxing. Like you can watch a sunset and it's relaxing. You can listen to the sound of rain and that's relaxing. Seeing two people getting real sweaty, dripping, and other things dripping is not relaxing. Masturbating is relaxing when you're done.
I'm not sweaty. I'm not dripping. I'm just masturbating. And I'm enjoying
the people in the
what
video.
I'm watching. So they're sweaty. They're going hard.
Exactly.
They're doing all that stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm just enjoying the visual and I'm having a good time watching it. That's it. You might not call it relaxing. Speak for yourself. Speak for women.
I'm talking
sure all
about
you
masturbation
ladies,
is relaxing.
all you ladies. So that comes with part of watching it, right? So if you watch, I wish I had some. I'm gonna have to drop the link for maybe a man or two to join this panel.
So let's go back.
Okay, so wait. Here's the thing. I'm a actually. Okay, so ladies, I hate to do this, but I actually have to back Mingo up on this one.
I was gonna back up too.
And it's only because I have some smut ass friends, and when I tell you their phones are not getting them nowhere near the pearly gates of heaven, they will never meet that man outside of prayer. You hear me? With the smut that they have in their phones. And it's to them, it is the most. It's like drinking a cup of coffee and sitting on your porch listening to the birds. Like that, it is like they in their robe. A little wind might blow around down there. I mean, they are like. It is like they waving at the neighbors, like good morning. Like, and if I didn't know this because of my El Smutto friends, I would probably be saying the same thing that you're saying. Like, how could that be relaxed? They be like, just look look at the people go. Like, and it's just, and the same way that you're like, you know, the action after is relaxing for, you know, us, because now we're telling them, what about me? For them, it's just like, oh, well, look at that. My friends, I got friends' phones that they be like, wait, don't scroll too far. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna freeze the phone. Wait, you know what? I'm gonna just send them to you. I'm gonna just screenshot them and send them to you. That way you ain't got to, yeah. And it's hard to fathom and believe, right? You know, from a woman's perspective. But if I didn't know them and have seen it with me own, I'm damaged. I'm damaged from what I've seen. Okay. Had I not already gone through fires, I promise you, I'd probably be saying the same thing that you're saying. But for them, it's just like,
that's what I say. You gotta understand men. You gotta,
yeah.
if you truly understand how men think and men are, you wouldn't be like, we should think like y'all, because we don't.
But that's why I say
I'm not saying
you
that.
do have to take Cardi's B comment seriously, because even though she's in the adult entertainment industry, what she's trying to say is this is where our young men go to learn and figure out what the eyes have yet to see. You know, so they're going to these places to explore what their body is trying to communicate to them, what they're feeling. Why is this standing up? Why am I feeling this sensation? What should I do now? You know what I mean? So now they go over here and they're looking at pictures and magazines. That's where it started for our generation, or at least mine. It started with the Playboy magazines and all of that. So that's where, you know, my brothers and stuff, that's what they were doing, you know, hand jobs to that stuff and getting this sensation.
She said hand jobs to themselves.
But
They mean
I mean, everybody starts somewhere, and then it goes to, you know, now I'm finally with a girl. Now I'm gonna see what this is like. But I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't even know which hole I'm supposed to go in at this point.
Yo.
So
we didn't all have the same class in fifth. I had a class in fifth grade.
But
In
guys,
public school, they had the class.
but guys, they learn by seeing. So a lot of
It was
times
a video.
it's a
Fifth grade.
hands-on thing with them. So if they seeing how it's done, then they're gonna utilize it more. And so they're watching this porn, then they go to this porn video. Now, like somebody in the comments said, well, yeah, I tried it, a porn video with some woman, and she didn't like it, but I didn't know any better. So that's just how it is. They're gonna go over there. They're gonna try it. Even my sons, they did it. They're gonna do it.
Healthy sexuality could actually, I mean, this could all be averted if we would stop doing the whole, oh, you don't need to know about that. You can learn about that
Making
when
it
you get
taboo.
older. You're not supposed to be worried about that now anyway. You're supposed, you being so busy worried about what they should be worried about versus what they actually are worried about, and educating them in a way that sets them up for success later on. Because it's just because you educate them about it doesn't mean that they're going to go and do it. But now they understand what the different parameters and things look like, and they got it from a reliable and, you know, worthy source versus going to looking at porn thinking that these things, we just don't have the kinds of conversations that are necessary to ensure that that isn't the place to go now that that's seen as the pinnacle. Like, no, I know what I'm doing. Are you sure? Because all you got is these little picture books to kind of help you, like, you know. But really having like candid conversations with young ladies and not making it seem like they're being fast or being whores, and having conversations with young men and not encouraging, oh, well, you know, if you're doing this, you know, and making it where it's a real conversation, making sure they understand that it is a very individualistic activity, that each person is going to be different with different sets of goals and ideas of what that looks like. Then it makes them look at themselves more and say, okay, you know what, am I ready for that level of commitment to the moment, right? Do I really want to take the time to know who this person is, to know if they're going to take to even make it where they don't get a BDR? Because, you know, those really do exist, and men, y'all don't want BDRs. That's just bad business.
What's
For those of y'all who are looking,
I
A bad
agree
dick
with that.
report. You know that.
I agree with that. I think if it was, I think if it was something that was talked about more in a healthy light with children, it could possibly prevent, certain things down the line because when you think about it, like for me, I was always told, well, every child is usually told what to do, what not to do. But me personally, I was always a very curious child. So every time you told me not to do something, I would go do it
You want
anyway.
to go do it
Because
anyway.
I wanted to know why. And it's crazy because porn was actually introduced to me by other peers in school. I had no idea what these kids was talking about. And aside from me being like, just regular school bullied, I was sexually like abused as well as a child. So there was like a lot of confusion. And once I went home and I looked it up, I actually would get caught. I got caught a few times watching it. I was so embarrassed. But I was hooked because like Mingo said, like I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like this is what they've been talking about.
Boom.
I was blown. I was completely blown. So I was
Yo.
I was more
Yo,
someone
for
watching.
me, it was like this. I was like,
Stuck. Completely stuck, yo. Completely stuck. But I feel like if it was talked about of the things that come along when you do make those decisions, really, really would help because I mean it's just so much stuff I wish I never would have done. like as far as like being educated, being smart, think ahead. But I did have one thing I wanted to read to y'all that I had found online as well, because it goes back to what I was talking about as far as when you see those images, right? So this is from covenanteyes.com. And this thing I'm reading, it's titled, it says, "The brain is tattooed with porn." So it says your brain is designed, your brain is designed to remember important situations and events. When you see porn, your brain gets the signal that something important has happened. Consequently, porn can leave an imprint of the image on your brain long after it's viewed. Many people who have quit looking at porn still have mind full of pornographic images, images that won't leave. And it talks about the reason for that is that there's 3 chemicals that actually go along with that. The first one I'm not going to say because I cannot pronounce that word. It starts with an N. But the second one is oxytocin, and I believe the third word is vasopressin. And it says that they work together to form like long-lasting memories. So when you are watching porn, this is activating in your brain to remember this stuff because you get that alert that it's like important. And that's crazy. That's crazy.
That is wow.
Yeah.
Well, that
I remember
actually
my
is.
first oh, go ahead, hon.
I was gonna say is that is actually, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense as to why people get addicted to it and why people get so drawn to it. Because if you're having those 3 hormones going in your mind to store it, you're gonna always have that reference to go back to.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that goes hand in hand with the same hormones that come out when you're addicted to other
Yeah.
substances. You know what I'm saying? So it makes perfect sense
Yeah.
from a
You
biological
talking about
standpoint,
the
for
image.
sure.
That image, like you talked about, I still remember Pinky. Yo, fresh.
Did you say Pinky?
All the fellas in the chat. All the fellas in the chat. Y'all remember
Cut it
Pinky?
out.
Everybody got their favorite though.
Stop.
Here's the thing, real talk.
Stop.
It really
Yo, they
goes
all
to
know
what,
Pinky.
no, it really goes to what you're saying as far as like long lasting
Memory.
memories, because a lot of people would be like, okay, who was the first star you were introduced to? And then you'll have people like, oh, it was Cherokee, oh, it was Pinky, oh, it was Byron Long, oh, it was, this is what I heard.
You
You got a lot of names, kid.
You going down
Dropping them.
What now?
You dropping them names,
I'm just
boy.
saying, that's what I heard.
And it's just
I
rolling
hear-
off.
I hear things in
You.
these-
I
hear
mean.
things in these streets.
Yo,
Okay,
you see?
but, I gotta
Fresh,
educate
Hey,
them.
Fresh said Cherokee was better.
Yeah, no name.
Cherokee was what? The best?
Better.
She was better.
Girl, put your glasses on.
Yo,
Shut up.
yo, Cherokee and
Not the
I
setup.
had some very long nights together.
Bruh.
Very long.
That's
Me,
really
Cherokee, Pinky.
The conversation he has in front of his wife.
Hey,
I'm just being honest.
I've seen both of them, so I'm not even worried because they both are not really. They not popping at all.
They was popping. Yeah, they're not popping no more. They're like 50 years
They
old.
wasn't popping like that either back then. I
In
seen.
his 11-year-old
I ain't gonna
mind,
talk
they
too
was
much about my
popping.
stuff, but I'm gonna just say.
Thank you, Jess.
In his
They are right.
11-year-old mind.
In my 11-year-old mind, Pinky was my ideal woman. That's who I was gonna marry. I was gonna marry a 304.
Yo.
Yo, Frank said they like 60 now.
What? Oh my
Hey,
God.
man, old, yo.
Man.
No, what's sad is a lot of these women started like when they were 18, like literally just legal. So they're probably not that much older than you, sir.
Nah, they was old. They older than me, babe. I was young when they were like, if I was 11 and they was,
And
even if they was
Cherokee
18,
is only 48.
Again, that's what I'm saying.
Still,
Like they started right at 18.
Who's 48? Wait,
Cherokee.
She's 48.
48.
That makes sense. And you 42, sir. So what are we talking about?
42.
Exactly what I said.
So that means we was close in age.
Exactly what I said. It was they plucked these women out of obscurity at 18 and said, go ahead and bend over, and they busted wide open.
There's no way she's 48. That's child pornography.
It say yeah.
He said,
right. I'm about to say, look, I'm like you, MRT. Let me get on my research.
Cherokee ASS, American pornographic film actor, born 1976, age 48. She's from Los Angeles. She light skinned?
Nah, she dark skinned.
Yeah, Cherokee.
She like brown skin. She's not dark skin. She like brown skin. Yeah. And Pinky high yellow. She real light with pink hair.
I gotta
and
watch
red hair.
all of y'all search engine after this show.
My search engine is clean.
I'm not looking nothing up. I'm just listening to
you gotta clear. You gotta delete.
I don't even want to remember what she looked like.
Yeah.
Because more real talk has said the I'm assuming it was like Naratin. Was it NEURONTIN? Something like that.
It is
in the oxycodone.
It's NOREPINE
I can't get over that. That's fine. Those things brought it back.
It's NOREPINEPHRINE.
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 What are y'all talking about?
But wait, just going back. But going back to the ages, of the stars that we're talking about in question. Sarah Mirabelli, better known as her stage name Pinky, was born June 24th, 1982 in West
She younger than
California.
Me?
She 1 year younger, sir.
Pinky younger than me? That's crazy.
If you were born after that,
I was born in 81.
Yes, sir.
You were not watching Pinky at 11. That's the part where I'm like, I need you to be quiet. Like you were not watching her.
Pinky then. It couldn't have been Pinky. Pinky was probably in my prime.
Okay, fine. You watched something.
Look, you see? It's right there.
I guess
her name is Sarah Mirabelli.
Pinky was in my prime.
Sarah Mirabelli.
Yeah.
Even if she.
My God, today I'm so glad.
Yo.
A change.
She appeared
in over 100 adult films.
What do y'all think of the kind of like the spiritual aspect that it has on you? Like as far as like, they say what enters your spirit, it comes in by what you hear, by what you say, and what you see.
So a man thinketh, so is he. Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. There you go.
Then you also hear about like Incubus and what's the other one?
Girl, I don't know.
Succubus?
Who's Incubus?
And Succubus.
Succubus.
Yeah.
Yes,
Succubus and
Oh,
Incubus, things like that.
okay.
So you're talking about what it does to you if you're in the act of it or if you're watching it.
Yeah.
Me?
What effect
Okay,
has it had on
yeah.
you, sir? Let's talk
The
about the male
worker-
perspective. What
Is it
effect has it had on you?
On me?
Oh,
Me
on
watching
you.
porn? 'Cause I never acted
Yeah.
in any porn videos. Not that I know of, not to my consent.
Yo.
Right?
What?
So what porn did to me as a young man growing up in those streets of Far Rockaway, Queens, right?
Sorry.
All right.
We the only one from Far Rockaway. We gotta represent. I mean, you looking kind of crazy right now. But we still
The
gotta
one time
represent.
you can.
So what it did
Calm
to
down,
me,
Brooklyn. Calm down.
it didn't I would say at this age it didn't affect me, but yes, definitely growing up, it made me hypersexualized, right? I definitely was out there trying to hump on a lot of women, as many women as possible. And it does cause a level of like, yo, it might be a little hard to settle down because it does skew how you feel about women. You tend to feel like all women are 304s, right? You feel like at some point any and every woman could turn to that if times got hard for them. So it did.
I'm sorry to
times get
laugh.
hard. But think about it though. But is that so far-fetched? We're not going to talk about all. But look at OnlyFans. When OnlyFans became a thing, look at the market and how it influxed. The moment the pandemic hit, women teachers, doctors, everything, when they realized that they couldn't make as much money as they was making before, they turned to OnlyFans.
Doctors?
So, yeah, doctors did that. Doctors did that. There was literally a doctor that we was discussing on another panel that I did live.
So maybe it wasn't because times was hard. Maybe it was because some people really, I think,
She was just a
feel
hoe?
like.
I mean, the 304. I don't know, but
for the slow people on the panel, me being the slow person, and I've been wanting to ask this question for like, I swear to God, months. Where did the 304 come from? Like how
the beepers, the pagers,
the number?
So the pagers. So if you put 304 on the pager, you turn it
Even
upside down.
On the calculator. You remember a calculator? You flip it upside down, and you could make.
Diggity dang.
Yeah.
Upside down.
Yeah.
I never knew that either. I would always hear y'all say that, and I would be like, "Why do they keep?"
Remember, like on your calculators, you could make little words. Back in the day,
So Breeze, log on, Breeze.
Same thing.
Oh,
Same thing.
that's interesting.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. So it did create that, but like I said, is it far fetched to see that when the world turns upside down, women will turn to using their sexuality to make a living? Is that so far fetched from what I thought as a child, right, to now what you see as an adult when the world did turn upside down?
Well, I feel like that's putting the conversation in a different direction because I feel like because of society being more of a sexual liberation and exploration and exploitation, it made it very easy for that to be a way of basically capitalizing off of it. So I mean, I don't know the statistics or the percentage, but there was definitely men on OnlyFans. I mean, Safari was definitely making some money on OnlyFans.
It's not near what you think.
Well,
no,
we already know men consume this type of stuff way more, but we don't have the numbers. We don't have the numbers to refer to.
Hey, pause. You don't need some things. You don't need numbers as to realistic things that's visually in front of your face. Women do not pay to see men drop it low as much as men.
We're not talking about dropping it low. So some women just want to see the package. We got to do nothing.
Listen, but women are not paying for that because you guys can get that anywhere. You can walk in. Hold on. Before you say anything, a woman could walk in the street right now and why are you not listening?
I'm listening.
A woman could listen and stop talking. A woman could walk in the street, right, and literally walk up to a man and say, drop your pants, and the majority of men would drop their pants.
In the middle
But when
street?
it comes, yes, they would. Most men don't care. As long as you can say,
Not
they might
these
say, hey,
sensitive
yo,
souls that we have
they
here
might
that-
say, hey, let's go around the corner and I'll drop it low. I'll drop my pants for you. But that's how women are.
They might be
Right?
like, yes,
So to sit down and
voyeurism.
act like,
You
oh,
didn't take
men
me to
could
dinner.
be on OnlyFans and make as much money as women is cap. Just you might find one out of many men that can do that. The majority of women are not looking for men like men are looking for women. It could be the biggest woman. She could start up her OnlyFans, and most men will pay for her to
Plot
see
twist.
a top
But-
of
It
her
actually
nipple.
says
But-
here
But
that
plot twist, something you're making. Here's the thing: OnlyFans doesn't have a sexuality, right? So it can be a man getting paid off of a lot of men watching him.
Oh,
do
another
things,
man.
and it has nothing to
Right.
do.
But-
But it doesn't matter.
But
We
it's
didn't
men
say who
who are
was
the
buying what.
consumers.
We said we said who the consumer was and how it can be paid, and that was the thing, right? So to you, it's
Even
like,
to watch a
oh,
toe.
we can go to any man, but it's men that can go up. It's a different ball game when you think about it being online, because there's no communication, there's no intact. So a man could very well make more, if not as much more.
MRT got the numbers. You
Because
got the numbers,
of the
MRT?
whole taboo.
well, I don't know if we were talking about like the creators or the consumer, but it says approximately 90% of OnlyFans creators are predominantly female. Males reportedly make up about 10% of OnlyFans creators, but I lost track. Was we talking about the consumer or we talking about?
But that's an important fact what you just said, because what you just said states my point. The majority of men are not doing it. So if you have 10% of men doing it, 90% women doing it, and you think 10% of the men that are doing it is making good money?
And it's probably for like the LGBT community for the
It
most part,
probably is.
and and so it's still men
There-
are the consumers.
I would like to see those
So-
numbers, regardless if they're only 10%. That 10% can make more than the 90% that's on there. Just because we're the majority on the platform doesn't mean that we're the majority of, as far as the higher numbers is what's being made. I would like to see those numbers, especially when we have, a new set of parameters with having a whole alphabet community out there. And then we really got to talk about, and I don't want, you got DL men out there as well that will get their fix on buying OnlyFans, subscriptions, so that they can have their cake and eat it too, meaning that they won't get kicked off of the straight man's table because their friends find out that they like to watch them people getting backdoored. But that's a whole nother conversation. Just saying that on Dion's side, just saying that
the point is that they exist. We know the majority of the consumers, even of regular pornography, is mainly men. But we're not going to denounce and say that there's not female consumers. So it goes vice versa, even for OnlyFans. The purpose of it is like being it's a market of over sexualization. So you could literally, there are people on OnlyFans just showing their feet. Only just, what I'm saying? So there's
a whole
different
website called Feet Finder. What do you mean?
What I'm saying? So there's all different fetishes that are happening on a site like OnlyFans. It doesn't mean like you gotta be, dipping it low and spreading eagle. Like you ain't gotta do all that.
So
There's people making money doing whatever.
y'all are still, even though, you see, I like to talk in general, and I get what y'all are saying 100%, from my wife to everyone on the panel that mentioned something. But what I like to talk about in general, men are the ones consuming woman porn, right? It's been like this for generations. I think porn is literally the oldest profession. The oldest profession. Sex work is and then which turned into something that could be visual. And then the moment it became visual, this was like back in like the early 1900s, where porn was being bought and everything by men. The moment video came out, men was on it. We was on it, and it'll never change. Men will dominate buying in that market, period. So we could talk about a man selling his feet pics or a man doing whatever and it being consumed by other men, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that men are going to be the consumers of it all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would agree with that just because, like, you'll have even women sometimes want to go see other women, you know what I mean, and not actually even want to participate in it, but they just want to see it the same way a man would. Um, but I did find here where it says the LGBT community represents at least 30% of the overall OnlyFans creators. It doesn't go into like specifics if it's like what part of the, I call it the alphabet community. They don't say which one. It just says the LGBT as a whole makes up like 30% of it as far as demographics go. But yeah, because I mean, for me personally, like sometimes I'll go to the club or whatever, the strip club or whatever, and it's not that I'm like having a moment. It's just that's something I like to do for fun, the same way a guy would. So I mean, I can see it kind of being. I can kind of see what Miko's saying.
Why do as women? Why do y'all go to a strip club? I'm just curious about that. If y'all not really attracted to women, unless you are attracted to women.
I mean, I can't really speak for everybody, but sometimes it's just a vibe. I can't really explain.
Have you ever eaten the chicken wings?
I was just about to say, I used to go for the chicken wings.
Have you had a wing from the strip club?
Depending on where you go, you will be highly entertained. I mean, the strength, the tricks, you know, the money flying, the music, like it's just a vibe. You know what I mean? You can go there and kind of be a little wild.
And when I can get me some crispy ass flats and be entertained.
Yes,
let me explain something to you. You have not had a more.
I mean, some drums. I don't do the flats.
Nah, only flats. Only flats.
I've been a couple times, but it's just not really my forte.
You said the wings at the strip club are bomb.
I don't care.
Lady Fresh, let's go.
D-Man, I don't care if you order them and sit in the parking lot. Wings in the strip club are life changing. They do something different. Like you drink and
then they do the drink specials too. They do.
Oh Jesus!
Kid, you said two magic words. You said all flats and crispy. My eyes. I was like, hold on, what now?
Some of the best chicken wings you'll ever have in your life. It's
I might have to check it out.
Yo, real quick, y'all. Let's go around the panel. Drums or flats?
Flats, all flats.
Flats.
Extra crispy.
All flat. Extra crispy.
Vegetarian.
Maybe even bone.
Crispy drums.
So basically, Jess said cauliflower.
Cauliflower. Fried cauliflower.
I like that one. That was fine. I love cauliflower, so I don't mind. It's all right. It's okay.
Nah.
I like
good lion's mane.
I got fake ones.
She said drums. Come on, Fresh. Yes. Get into the drums. Drum line.
Listen, I'm a drums guy too. I am gonna hold you. I am drums all day.
You could be flats today.
I could be flats today.
You could.
You
don't need to be on our wave.
Okay. So yeah, good topic. Hold on one second. While y'all talk about drums and flats, I wanted to talk about my new dating show I have coming up. I need y'all to find y'all soulmates. Soulmates. We don't call them partners on this side. We call them soulmates. The person that you was meant to be with. So I'm gonna drop my intro. Check it out and let me know when y'all ready to sign up. All right. We getting ready to meet to marry. You know what I'm saying? Y'all saw Jess on it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't get it
That's
mistaken.
made
I'm
her.
not on the dinner show.
She gonna be on the dating show. Don't listen to Jess. We gonna sign her up. We gonna sign her up.
Oh no.
All right, y'all. So listen, let's
I
jump into the
encourage
next.
everyone else to.
Yes, we're gonna jump into the next segment of our show. This one's wild. We gonna go into the cap of the week.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No.
All right.
Oh, I saw this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you saw it? You saw it? Hold on.
Yeah.
A gray top, and she had a dogger bag. The CV gave the description of a female black with long braids with a white baseball cap, white shirt, and
What classes did I steal from Mount Clemens?
That girl tight.
What classes did I steal? Thank you.
Stop recording it now! You should not be recording it without our permission.
For my safety. Thank you.
My aunt sunglasses. It wasn't her. Do she have a fucking white T-shirt on? No. 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 My soul. Leave my mother alone.
I don't have nothing though. This is crazy.
Oh my damn father. You know I had nothing. I'm gonna kill some.
So, as y'all all know, New York is not a real place. New York is not a real place. It's just made up. And this is where kids act like adults, where things happen on the streets that are not supposed to go down, where somebody could steal and other people will defend them for stealing. New York is not a real place. So how do y'all feel about that?
I was
So
confused.
I think the little girl, I mean, I never want to like, well, obviously, kids cursing, shouldn't be cursing, whatever. But I think in this situation, it's a little bit different because I don't know how old she was, but her generation, based on how angry she was and she's yelling, you can tell that she's received some type of information about what's happened to other Black people when they have run-ins with the cops or you're being accused of something. So she may not necessarily know what's going on, but I feel like the little girl could have an idea that her aunt or her mama life could be in jeopardy because the cops is right here and they're detaining her or whatever. So I feel like that was really sad, in my opinion, that a little girl that age can kind of like recognize that type of situation. And she trying to do something about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So
more go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry, you was next.
go ahead. You can't, go ahead. Go ahead, girl.
I was just gonna say I'm more worried about her safety, right?
Mhm.
Like that's something like we live in times where although she's a child, we've seen cops shoot in a car with a kid right in it next to the person. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know how or what can trigger being taught. I mean, it's crazy that we have to think about teaching kids at that age any level of emotional intelligence, to not lash out and to not act in that way, even if they felt like they were being provoked, they weren't being protected, they were being accusatory of things that they weren't done. So it's one of those slopes that I look at like, kids curse. I mean, they try to do it in the most respectful manner, if you will, when it's not around the big wigs. But for her to even feel like she had to come to that level of energy with adults behind with the situation, it's sad, but it also, definitely says we should, because I mean, what you gonna do? Thank her for standing up for you? Like, no, like next time, make sure that you. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's just a little harder because she's so young, but she's not speaking like she's young, which means that you can definitely tell that she's lived, she's seen some things.
Yeah.
If she's gonna have that level of language pattern, then you need to also teach her about how to be safer in situations that she can't control. That was a place in the situation that she could not control the outcome, and if anything, she could have made the outcome worse for her and her aunt or her mom, whoever the case was. It's one of those things where I'm more worried about baby girl's safety than everything else. But
So when I saw this clip earlier, it's a lot of thoughts went through my head. First of all, and yes, with the safety, right? But what I saw in that little girl was fear. Now, how that fear was projected, it came out with all of that, because remember, they're coming from different environments. So if it's a environment that curse, she's going to curse as well. Typically, especially that's how she, because I'm a preschool teacher. We get it. Trust me. 4 or 5-year-olds, they could rip it out and be like, and they look at you like, okay,
And proper
because
context.
if that's the household that they come from, best believe. And
Right.
if that's the kind of household they come from. But what I did see was fear, because if you watched the extended version, I actually watched the extended version where the mother was going into the car, and she's there like, kind of like, what do I do? I just want to give her a hug. This is her when the mother is already in the car. And then she says, can I just give her a hug? Can I just, or something like that. And they allowed her to like go up to her mother and rest her head on her. And her mom gave her a kiss. And then she started crying. Now, if you understand, after all that pent up emotion that came out of her, like, she probably heard that how many people, especially in the Black community, that is a running theme that they say, like, where the whole mantra of, F the popo and whatnot, where that kind of stuff come from. And seeing that that's being said in that community, that a lot of melanated folk lose their lives to, the popo, at the hands of the popo. So now when you think about that, and if that's what she's around, because I even say that, and I'm gonna tell you this, as a preschool teacher, at the graduations they have where the child be like, when I grow up, I want to be, there's staff that will be even in the schools and be like, nah, when the child say, oh, I want to be a police officer, there's some people like, nah, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. That's still like what we're milking into our children. So if there is like a negative connotation going to the, officers and stuff like that, and this child is seeing her mother be apprehended, imagine all the thoughts swirling in her head, and she cannot control it. She can't do anything about it. She feels helpless. This little child. So as much as I'm not for a small child using colorful language, I'm just like, okay, I do understand the situation. She was afraid. I mean, and I'm gonna disclose, I had someone in my life who was a police officer, and every time he left, he used to live in the pink houses in New York. If you know the pink houses in New York, listen, that place is for real. And when he joined the police academy, tell me why had to wear a shirt over his clothes, his uniform, and all that stuff heading in and out. That was stigmatized. You could not be just like blatant, like, okay, that's the force you're joining. So it's like a lot of play on both sides. Now, of course, with that person in my life, I can be like, yes, there are good ones out there, but just saying, as the community and what's being spread around, I understand the child's like feeling helpless.
Absolutely.
So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts there?
Reading the title of it, it said in quotations, accidentally stole whatever. Unfortunately, there are some people in the world that they steal as a means to, get their money. So I think just saying, it is very possible that she could have felt that bringing a child would have softened the blow of potentially getting caught if she stole. And
Some
that
people
wasn't the
do.
case. And I feel like there are definitely people that do that when it comes to kind of having children in the midst of crimes, or even when it comes to solicitation. It's not to say that there may not necessarily be a need to steal or a need to solicit. Like, how many times can any of us say that we've seen like a woman and children outside on the corner, with the sign, help me and my kids, or whatever the case may be. And it's different when you see a man begging as opposed to seeing a woman, especially if she has her kids with her. You're probably going to be more apt to dig in your pocket and give her something. So I think the same can be said when it's like, okay, well, if I bring my niece, or if I bring my nephew, or if I bring my kid, and I'm just, trying to boost this, that, and the third, these things, that they might not catch it, or they may not be as harsh with the consequence. And unfortunately, in this situation, they still were going to detain her, as Jessica said, with the fact that she was in a cop car in the extended version. She got arrested.
Yes. She was
So
in the so that's if they even found anything for her to be in that, because if they didn't find anything, I will find that kind of suspicious. That's why I
They
like to
said her
wait when
aunt
I hear these
stole though.
stories.
Right,
That's
it
what I
wasn't her
heard. So
mom,
then
it was
why
her
is
aunt.
she in the cop car? Because from in the extended, she ended up in the cop car.
Yeah, they
Right.
If
said it was
she's in
All
the
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 little
aunt that
girl,
car,
she
stole,
said,
not her.
my
but the
mom
mother
Are,
was.
are
didn't
we
do
clear
anything.
that the person that was in the video next to the little girl was the person that was accused of stealing, or
I'm gonna
is
play
that
it
a
again
different
so we can
person?
get more context again.
And
Hold on.
and absolutely, because when I was looking at it, not only that, they said it was a pair of glasses, right? And
Right.
this is just to kind of play devil's advocate, because I know it's been times where I'll be talking or I'm doing something, I'll have something in my hand. Like, I would like to know, what would, if it was a pair of glasses, where were these glasses when she stole them? Were they in her person, like in her bag, where it would look like she blatantly was going to steal them or do something? Because I can be completely honest. It's been times where, if especially I have a 16-year-old son, if he, mom, oh well, can you do something? I might be talking to him, doing something, and have something that, because you'll pick up something and look and see if you like it or whatever, and have it in your hand, and then you walk out. It's been times I'm like, oh shit, I didn't mean to walk out with this, and now I look crazy, or either I'm walking back in and be like, oh, I walked out with these by accident, let me pay for them, or I didn't even want them here, or be like, you know what I'm saying? So I know that it can happen. I know it has happened. That's why I'm one of those, like, before, especially when it comes to, I'm a little soft on my women that look like me. So before I go assuming that, I mean, because times are hard. I mean, I just don't see someone just boosting sunglasses unless they
If
like
they're luxury
hundred,
sunglasses, yeah.
but
I
but
know.
here's the thing: if you
if
have,
they're
most of the times, if you get luxury sunglasses, it's behind a case somewhere. Normally, they'll, unless you slid them and they were busy with other people and you slid or walked out. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's some magnificent bustiers out here that can, slide and jive on some stuff. But at the same time, I'm just like, okay, if that was the case, I would think that just a pair of sunglasses, unless these sunglasses is like some $300-$400 sunglasses, it just doesn't make sense.
Yo, I gotta back that for real, because I was at TJ Maxx. It's been some months ago, and I always wear crossbody, so I'm used to something being across me. So whatever purse I got is a crossbody. I was looking for purses, and I found one, but I had a whole bunch of stuff in my hand, so I had it on as a crossbody. Y'all, I paid for my stuff, walked out the store, and halfway to my car, I was like, "Yo, I still got this purse on me." Yo, I ran back in there. I know they were looking at me like, "What is this lady doing?" I was like, I didn't mean to take this, but I had it across me with my regular purse. I didn't even notice. So I didn't pay for this. Please take this back. Like, that was crazy. So yeah, no, I do got it back. And
And
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if the
people
lady
won't
was.
even do that.
Oh yeah, no, I
And
was
some
like,
people will
nah,
just
bro, I
be
gotta
like,
So
take this
okay,
back. Yeah.
yeah, I got it.
They'll
I'm
be like,
out.
oh,
So here's
right.
the thing, right? For me, I can't. Sorry, Kit, but I can't be sensitive on ladies at all that look like y'all. Can't, because they steal. Black women, and black women are not any different than the majority of other people walking this planet. So knowing that, the fact that the little girl was saying it wasn't her, it was my aunt. The whole title was the aunt that took it. So whether it was the mom or not, it's somebody that was with them that took it, right? So designer glasses, cheap, whatever. Most of these women are stealing fake wigs from stores. It happens every day. Most of these stores get shut down because our people, black men and black women alike, are running in there, taking stuff, running out. So you got places like they're starting to call certain parts of America food deserts. They're calling them because Walmart's straight leaving.
Walmart
They're like,
just
yo, we
closed down
can't.
in DC.
Yeah,
They
that's
closed
what I'm
one of the
saying.
things.
They're like,
Same thing.
they're like, we can't even run business here anymore because these Negroes keep running up in here, stealing everything.
Yeah.
And it's black
That's
men
facts.
and black women alike. We are no better than each other. And to say that homegirl Dion was 100% right when she said these women be bringing their children with them. I'll see video after video after video after video where
Absolutely.
women are in these stores with their kids, stuffing stuff in their kids' pants, stuffing stuff in their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to question the kids? But no, they're forgetting there's cameras everywhere.
In the baby
And
bags.
everything, right? And everything is making the internet. So I'm not putting nothing past these sisters nowadays on how they move and how they act in the wild because they out there.
Wait.
But
They
when
out
She
there.
ended up in the car.
But that's
But
why I
when
was
she
just
ended up in the
saying,
car.
I was just saying the devil's
doing
side of it, right? Because I absolutely agree. Them hands be sticky.
Can y'all hear
You
me?
know, whether it's something that they need, something that they
Yeah,
want, whatever the case in between, them hands be like Spider-Man. Everything's sticking to them. So I get it, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, before that's the assumption that I make, I want to see before I go saying that she's some thief that purposely stole some glasses. Now, if that's the case, then you get what you get, because why was you in these people's space with this child of anything? But like you said, it's always, I mean, I know people that they'll, again, have a baby bag. You know, I've even seen cases where people have like the little mini stroller with no baby, and I have the baby bag and like have the stroller like covered, because of course, you know, people are thinking it's a sleeping baby in there, and so they'll have it covered and like have the baby back and the whole 9 yards. So I definitely get it, but I was just like, before I say that that's the case, just because case in point, like D-May said, it happened to her. It's happened to me before, and I've literally been like, well, holy shit, I didn't mean to do this. You know, just want to see what that energy was. That's all.
Yeah, I just don't want to.
What you gonna say?
I was just saying, like, I don't want to accuse somebody of something unless it's solid proof. You know, if they're, especially when you're running a business, like, you know, you want to do your due diligence before you just go pursuing to arrest somebody. You know, especially if the child is saying it wasn't my mom, it wasn't my mom. So now you're putting their parent in the back of the car. Are you taking the child down to the police station too, or are you just leaving her there to go figure out how to
They
get
did say
home?
that. In the extended version, they said that they'll be taking
They'll
her to
take
the precinct.
they'll take the kid to the police station.
Yeah.
So, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw the
Social
extended.
services involved. That's
Did they find something on the mom?
I
Was
don't
it
know
the
if they
sunglasses?
did,
Did they
but she
find the
was in the
sunglasses?
car.
Yeah,
That's all I
And
saw.
usually when it gets that far, because if it was something like, think about it, right? If it was something like I didn't steal it, something like D-May or Kit said, Kit's Wi-Fi again, y'all. We apologize. But if it's something like you know, like D-May or Kit said, where okay, it was an accident, you guys walked out with something. For the most part, most people will walk back in, right? Or if they even walked out with it, and let's just say something happened, they'll be like, "Here you go, my bad." It wouldn't have turned into a child having to yell and trying to defend somebody. So some things, you know, this is you guilty for it. So whether you or somebody you was with that kind of ran away and got away with it, you all are accomplices with this crime. And you're all going to get treated the same. That's how it works. That's the law. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Yes, you don't want to put guilty on somebody, but some things are blatant as day.
you're
These
just saying
Negroes
guilty
are
by
out here
association
stealing.
at this point.
That's what happens. So until we can sort this out, right? Everybody got to go to the precinct until it's all sorted out. That's how it works, right? We don't know. I'm not gonna assume that I'm just gonna be like, yo, Lady Fresh, let's make it happen soon. Let's make it happen soon. But yeah. So that's kind of the thing that I wanted to kind of lay out with that.
And I do want to say another thing too. It's not just the Black community where stores are getting shut down for theft. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe, matter of fact, here in a more rural area, Walmart is getting shut down, which is heavily populated with a different race, and it's due to theft that they're being shut down.
I mean,
So
it's not only the melanated that takes,
it's
but
not,
I mean, it's still quite a bit of our neighborhoods though that this is happening, and we gotta kind of sometimes acknowledge that as well. Like, even I'm not against even like those protests and stuff like that, but I don't understand, like, even why does half of our protests or a good number of our protests end with looting and stuff like that? Like, why does it have to go that far?
Yeah,
How
but
does
if
that
you,
help?
if you
Because
watch
you'll
those
see people
videos, you
crying
also will
after.
see that not everybody is melanated that's looting. In a lot of cases, not everybody that's looting is melanated. So, I just wanted to point that out, that, I know I'm not saying that we as a people shouldn't do better. We all can do better. But, I think that we put a lot of focus on our people doing wrong when it's everybody in the world that does wrong.
I think that just comes because we pay attention to us.
Yeah.
So because we only see us, and that's like what we pay attention to, it feels like the majority of the things that are happening versus the others that are partaking in same said activities.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say,
And of course,
oh.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say too, it's like, and when you think about like the news and stuff, um, most of the time they do report like melanated people, like to kind of make it seem as if we are the only group committing these crimes, to kind of like twist it. Every time you turn on the TV, it's like another black man has done this or done that. And I think they really kind of zoom the camera in a lot more than necessary. And we kind of look at us as the bottom of the barrel, like, because we're the ones holding up all of this violence, when really, it's a mixture in that type of structure.
I mean, we wasn't at the White House. We did not storm the White House.
We did not. No, ma'am. I got a whole video on it. Oh my
And
God.
the one black dude that we did see there, he was like, he thought it was a pep rally or something. He was like, he just
So all those people that were involved didn't even get prosecuted. How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
And
but
just
then
like,
that's the thing too. Like,
that's
things
a whole
that
nother
we
can of
do,
worms.
sometimes we have to understand we get like a harsher hammers thrown at us. Like, let's think about that. So sometimes I feel like as a community we have to kind of be more careful, be more proactive, because we get it harder.
And I want to add to that too, real quick. I think we also, in a sense, kind of egg that on as well, because we all like to be entertained, and I think sometimes we kind of look at each other for entertainment, when really I feel like there could be something bigger that's going on behind the picture. Like, not to bring it up, but to also bring it up. The whole like Diddy thing. Like, granted, I don't. He's not my heir, so I don't really know too much and everything that's going on, but ever since this black man is being plastered on every social media site, every news, anywhere you can think of, you gonna see Diddy face at least twice on there. It kind of makes me wonder, like, what else is going on behind the scenes? Like, why are y'all blasting this in our face so much harder than you do other news? Is it because, like I said, that we be egging it on, or they want to paint a picture?
Back to what Jess was saying about.
Kid, you on mute.
Yeah, you on mute.
But go ahead, Portia.
I was saying it goes back to what Jess was saying about, and you as well, more real talk. that we're broadcasted more, because I think tonight there's supposed to be a documentary on Nick from the Backstreet Boys, where he had did a whole bunch of things to women, a lot of violations, and it's supposed to be a two-part series. So, and I was thinking to myself earlier today, like, a documentary,
Right.
in jail, he's not being prosecuted or anything. So there's always something else that we do miss when they have us focused, zoomed in on.
So what I want to, so that I do want to bring a real part of this conversation to the table, right? I think I agree with what y'all are saying, and Jessica, you are 100% right when you said that we got to be more mindful of what we're doing. We forget we are not the winners of this country. We're not. We're only 14% of this country, right? So of course there's going to be more crime by other races than us. There's more Spanish people in America at this point. You know what I'm saying? And they're committing a whole bunch of crimes. We can't take away from that. But then we also got to look at the fact of this. I could ask all of y'all right now, where do y'all want to live? Would you rather live amongst a group of non-productive black folks or a group of non-productive white folks? Both non-productive, but one area looks. Let's even talk about a trailer. I don't know if y'all know about trailer park homes, right? Or live in the projects in Brooklyn. Where would y'all rather live?
I don't know about neither, so I can't.
Okay, y'all never been to Brooklyn. Y'all never been to Brooklyn, but let's take you. Let's just look at Sugar Creek.
Which Brooklyn? Which
I
Brooklyn?
think I've been to Harlem like once or twice.
Well, we're not talking about the new Brooklyn. The new Brooklyn is gentrified, right?
I was about to say,
talking
depends on which Brooklyn we're talking about,
Yeah, now the new Brooklyn is gentrified, but let's go to Marcy Projects back in 1995. Let's go to Marcy Projects back in 1985, right? Would you rather live in Marcy Projects than the trailer park? I work in trailer parks out here all the time. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. It's different when you live amongst non-productive, and I'm not knocking our people, but we got to call a spade a spade. I got to be real on this channel, right? When you look at what black people do as opposed to when you're amongst other races of people, what they do, we have a serious problem. The crime is there. The crime is there. Yo, I've been in situations where I'm literally working and dudes threaten to shoot me for no reason. I'm working in Brooklyn, minding my business, and this happened.
Yeah.
So I walk around these so-called make America great again folks, and ain't never got threatened to get shot one day. So I get what y'all are saying, but we gotta keep it a bean when we talk about what black people are out here doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good thing. It's not something that we should be saying. I get it. We always do that though. Not taking away from what you were saying, Portia, but we do that. But what about the white people? Or what about
I'm not saying what about the white people? I'm saying, it's just we do so much dividing of race when it's everybody. The unproductive, us, the unproductive them. It's just we're being productive right now, right? So that's what we're doing. But then there's, other people that look like us that are being unproductive. But it's the same thing somewhere else in another race. Like it's just we are just human beings just walking amongst each other, but none of us we all see it in our own races where there's a problem with our own race, but everybody sees their racial problems as well. And we can focus on ours all day, but
here's
the thing. I can't fix white problem. I can't fix the tears of the clears. I can't do nothing for them. You know what I'm saying? But I can at least focus in on what we are doing as a people or what we're not doing as a people and focus on how to make that better, because that's the community not only in which I stand, but it's the community in which I serve. So if it's about looking at who's doing what. I can't do anything but say, okay, we're all doing it, but now what are we all doing about it? I can't
But that's not what
focus.
I'm saying. I'm not saying
But
like, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're doing this and you're doing that. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying like, yes, there are problems. Yes, we do have issues within our community. And we talk so much about the problem instead of the solutions, what we can do to fix it. That's why I said, okay, we're on here
but
being productive, but then
But that's the
others aren't.
issue. We can't be unrealistic about how it really is. If we are the ones who are looked down upon by media altogether, by the society altogether, overall, for the most part, when we do something, then we have to think about that. Okay, how can we unite to get past all of that? And that's where we're falling short. We're not uniting as we should. And if we're not uniting as we should, then that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. And then if there are any comparisons, that's where we fall short. And we have to look at the reality of it.
You can't compete where you don't compare. And some battles I don't want to compete in. Like
And
if
that's
my
the thing.
people,
Like we work so hard to try to be, this perfected to be pleasing to other races, when we just need to work on being good people at home, good people within our community, and
That's why I
stuff
say
like that.
unite.
But
And
as far
we're
as
not uniting.
we do unite, because when we do wrong, like
When?
we unite because we judge one
When
another
we
when we're wrong,
march
like as a whole.
and hashtag, that's
As
it.
no, not like Black Lives Matter. I mean, like as a whole, like with the woman saying, like with the woman stealing the sunglasses, right? Or whoever stole the sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
We all are saying like, okay, well, yeah, she's wrong. We're identifying the issue and pointing out, all these different things of how it could have been and what's going on in the community and things like that. That is identifying the problems that exist within the community. But what I'm just saying is like all those things do exist in other places too. And so we can't just say like, oh well, they look at us and woe is me, and they're going to always see us this type of way. Then we're not going to ever get, because we're bashing ourselves at that point.
can I ask you a question, Portia?
I see.
So if we have the acknowledgement of the thing, right? So we acknowledge that everyone's doing it. Now what?
I mean, no, that's the whole thing. It's just everybody's doing it, so you can't just say like, oh well, the community is getting shut down by, well, stores are getting shut down by blacks. No, I'm saying that's happening everywhere. It's not just a black thing.
But it's
I
not
think
happening in Oregon. It's happening in DC, where all the black people live. So if the majority of the demographic in that area is black and it's happening and stores are getting shut down, then are we to just say,
In some
well, it's a
places,
couple of crackhead white people that came that they
there
did it?
are more black areas that are getting shut down, but in some places there are white areas that are getting shut down as well.
Okay, but you see, that's
So it's just
whenever we talk about it, you continue to deflect. Like it's like, oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, that is bad, but them.
no,
And
that's
that's
not what
where
I'm
it never
saying.
is
That's
fit. Well,
not
that's how it comes
I
across.
okay.
think
That's
I
not what I'm
think
saying
I
at
think
all.
what
I'm
he
saying
made.
like that's not the issue. The issue has to go back to, okay, like how people were commenting and saying, well, New York is a bad place to raise your kids, and because kids have to grow up fast. So now you have to figure out how to fix that. You can't just say like, oh well, she's going to the store and she's stealing, and because she's black, like this, we have to do better in this and this and that. No, you got to start at home.
So,
So like I
New
think what
York
she's
is a
but
fast
that's me saying,
pace.
yeah,
Look,
New York
come
is
on,
I think
bad.
what
MRP
she's
has been
saying is
trying to say
that
something for the longest. Please.
I, I think I think what she's saying is that we more so share the blame of all of us collectively committing crime in some fashion or sort.
Understood.
If if whatever. So and then I think too, when you look at like the different demographics and what black people may be doing as crime, I feel like crime is always done on different levels, right? So you're gonna see the more the lower levels of crime on the news and stuff like that. But then you may go to like Oregon, like you were saying, or whatever, just somewhere where there's a lot of white people or other people other than being black. They also commit crime on a different level. Like we can look at somebody like Bill Gates, which has committed more crime than we could even really imagine. But it's all on a different level. You see what I'm saying? So I think she's saying that we share the blame and that all of us are to be shamed for committing crime of some sort. But I do think the crime the crime like differentiates, or there's different levels to it when it comes to demographics as well. And a lot of them get away with it other than us. Most of these other crimes that are being committed are going to be swept under the rug, especially if it's something political, financial,
white collar.
Yeah, something that is really high up. Like for example, we can go back to this Diddy thing. We know he's guilty of what he's doing, but for the people that are really involved, that have way more power than him, that probably don't have that same skin tone as him, I guarantee you they don't. They're also committing the crime, but Diddy's going to take the fall. So I think crime can just, it's levels to it, based on what we can see.
It's just
but even in that example, even in that example, what I'm trying to say is that we kind of have to, like, even in our community, take more care in how we approach things and what we do. Because Diddy, knowing that even though other people of other skin tones may be a part of the mix, he's definitely getting the call now. So he needed to make better decisions on the part of, and all of that, rather than just go along with these people and be down with it and just not think about it. And that's what I'm trying to say. We have to understand what our community is facing, and then with that we can target what the issue is, rather than, but he's not getting away, he's not getting called for it. How come he's not getting called for it? No, this is what we're dealing with in our community. Let's figure it out and see where we can go from here.
Right. Okay. I can see,
because that's what we have to care about. Our community right now too.
Yeah,
it's very similar to like when you go for a job, right? And let's say Brad gets hired before I get hired. Do I feel like that's not, and I might be more credible, or, I might have more, experience than Brad. But the problem is that you learn to have to understand that this is the way the world is. I am not going to get treated like Brad would get treated. Literally, I've known people that moved up very fast in my company and didn't even have to apply for the positions because of their skin tone. Where a man as myself has to work a little bit harder to get to where that is, and that's just life. So, and what I guess is saying is that we can't look at it as a way of, okay, everyone is doing it, more than controlling what is here. We do commit a lot of crimes. Could I say we commit most? Maybe not. We're only 14% of the US, but when it comes down to certain crimes, we do have a higher percentage in, right? Whereas you could look at petty crimes to, larger crimes. We commit a lot of the crimes and it's happening for a reason. Are some of us getting locked up for frivolous things, or maybe not even it being real or legit reasons why they're in jail right now? Yeah, that happens. But we still can't take away from, I might walk around. The likelihood is me as a black man walking somewhere and I'm going to get pow-powed, as Jess would say, will likely be from my own brother before it is from another. The likelihood is that.
We have to consider that and then see how we can target it,
because you're, more than likely you're around who you're around. But I'm just saying, as far as the broadcasting, like more of our crimes is broadcasted publicly.
I agree with that.
What is going on?
That's true.
As a whole,
I agree with that.
And that's what I mean by when I say them too. It's just most of what we're doing or our community is doing is being broadcasted and seen because they control the streams. So that's what's being shown as majority.
But even that, stop giving them all that stuff to broadcast.
That's
true.
That's true.
White media is
just get down to the nitty gritty.
Right.
Yeah, we don't control that, right? So they're gonna white media. We don't control that. This is why. And this is why you have people like I don't really care for Roland Martin like that. But this is why you have people like him who's been trying to start black media for years, right? He's been trying to say black people need to have their own network, their own thing. Like you got like even YouTube. Like one of our castmates on the Sunday show had mentioned like, yo, we on YouTube and the other people could say whatever they want, but we can't. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to limit what we say. We got to say this is a family show. We got to make sure we don't say the R word. We got to make sure we say, hey, we don't control this. You know what I'm saying? We don't control none of this. They do. So what we need to do at this point, huh?
Kanye told us best about
Kanye said it. We don't own this. So until we actually we don't support each other enough to really own anything, right? We don't support each other enough to really say, yo, all right, this black man comes out with a radio show. This sister started up her own network. Let me join. Who gonna watch it? Who gonna listen? Not to no large degree. You gotta have controversy on these panels for people to even listen to it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta almost look divided in order for us to gain. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just how it goes. It's just
What's
how
so
it goes.
sad about that is that people will sit and watch a chick go from skinny to fat as she's sitting there shoveling food in her mouth, talking about how good the butter is. But
I saw that.
Right, but we won't actually have the conversations and things and support the things that actually matter, that actually get us to the place of where Portia is talking about, where we're actually doing the things, like where Jess is talking about putting the work and actually looking at our community as a whole and revamping what community actually means. I come from a time where community was a big thing, even in New York. Like I remember, case in point, I remember like, let's say your mom is making something and she realizes she ran out of like 2 eggs, right? Oh, go knock on the neighbor's door and see if she'll give you 2 eggs and tell her I'll replace them when I get, back from the store. I don't want to stop cooking what I'm cooking. Like we need to get back to that level of community where when we say something to someone else's kid, the parent isn't ready to fight you because their kid is some ignorant twat hole that's just out here talking to people all extra. We don't have that level of community anymore, and everything is more, it's more of the crabs in a barrel type of an energy. And we need to get to a point where we're doing the one man lift up, where, instead of being in the barrel, we're on the ladder. And as we pull one up, like, look, here in Charlotte, I don't know how long some of y'all have been here, but Central Avenue literally went from like Black people, like a good mix, to all things Hispanic and Asian. They literally took the whole block over. Yo, stop putting on here. He gets on my nerves, y'all. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. My bestie is such a whole, like, God, you're
you being up here. You up here being a hypocrite.
I know why you
want to get back to the community. You being outed.
I'm gonna take him in his pothole. He's so crazy. But no. But for real, like we used to have it where, you did something wrong and an adult saw you. Not only did they get you together, they took you to your parent and told them, and it wasn't you getting ready to get punched in the face because you made sure that someone's child was doing what they were supposed to. We don't have that level of community anymore because everybody, and I'm not, because I have friends that absolutely love her, but we live in a time where, Sexy Red is an influential person in media. I hate to say that, but she really is. Even if she doesn't influence us personally, you have to look at what she's doing in the media and who she's doing it with, and the
and how
people
far they're getting.
And how, oh my God,
listen, I saw Krishan on my screen way too much.
They are,
like,
look,
seriously. Krishan and Blueface. I've seen enough of them on my screen. Like, it's too much. And this is what we're encouraging because people are watching it.
And it's a thing where, and I argue that, right? Because it's like, we always like to say, well, representation matters, right? Well, we know that there's communities of women that are just like her, young girls that are growing up in communities that unfortunately aspire to be like her. And now she has literally shown them that you can be like me, like us, and make it. And now they have a voice. So it's kind of like you look at how that even in itself, even when we talk about things like that, like the old school, we be looking like at least Little Kim and them could rap, right? They would actually had talent with their nakedness. Like,
Right.
she might have been squatting and had on some tiger drawers, but them lyrics was surefire and actually had some talent behind them. I don't know what this young lady does. Like, I'm looking for I don't know what she does. Like, I just,
So
but again, not to judge. It's just one of those things where I'm like, once we get back to a level of community that brings us to a place where we can actually build, like, kind of like how when I see like is these 20 families that came together and bought a town in Georgia, and now they're actually outfitting it and building it out, building out the groundwork, looking at the financial institutions that they're going to have within it, how they're going to build that town into a larger community when other people, would want to move in. Like when you start looking, like so Aggie. When you start, once you understand that, like you look at it differently. Imagine having to deal with him on a daily basis. Like it's ridiculous.
Yo, me and him gotta hang out. You gotta send him my way.
No,
We
do
gotta
not
hang out.
say that, Mingo, because now he's not gonna let it
Yo,
go.
Kenny. Yo,
Mingo,
Kenny,
you
what up,
cannot. No,
man?
Mingo.
Kenny, what it do?
No, Mingo, he
What it
cannot
do?
he cannot be a part of the reindeer games because all he's gonna do is get on. No, go to bed. If you gotta go somewhere in the morning, go to bed. But we really do need to get back to that level of community where where it's a thing where we're wanting to see each other grow, and we're wanting to do that in a way that doesn't shame, that doesn't shun, that doesn't put us behind, and also doesn't make it where we're relying on the others to get it done. And that's
I
where
have a
we start.
question, Kit, for you.
That's true.
I have a question for you, Kit.
Goodbye.
So like you mentioned also Lil Kim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were talking about in a previous conversation about like dopamine and things like that. Do you think that was that first level, that first hit, and then it's like we kind of plateaued and then kind of had to go extra for the entertainment? Like, you don't feel like sometimes it kind of starts escalating more and more
We
to
were
try and
talking about that,
create that
right?
wow factor?
We were definitely talking about that earlier. I remember when you said that, and I can definitely attest to that. Could be what it is. It's like, okay, well,
Some of the things
like
we
you said,
let
because
pass
because
at the
remember we
minimal.
started, because if you really want to look at it, we started with like sister rap, and we were talking about exacting change, and how to
Like Queen
not be a
Latifah's
hoe.
and whatnot
We was
and
UNITY, and we was like, I'm not a bitch or a hoe, and that's where we really started. And
304,
then,
304. This is a family show.
oh, I'm sorry, or a H lady. So we actually, we started transitioning into a more provocative, sexy kind of rap when you started, even though they weren't super provocative, but they kind of had provocative moments. Then you start getting into like your TLCs, and then your what was the group? Was it 708 or 80 702? And then you had like Black, and then that's where you started having like that transition of sexuality meeting up with lyrics and music. Then you transition into your now you start getting into your Little Kims, and you start getting into your Foxy Browns, and even before them, like right around that's Adina Howard's, and now you start going down this path. And as we've continued the path, we've gone away from the sister rap, I'm uplifting you, you're uplifting me, and we've transitioned to the F these dudes, we get in our own bag, F a job, BIM a job, you know what I'm saying? And now it just keeps, it seems like it's It's almost legalized prostitution in some ways. You know what I'm saying?
I pointed
So
that out though.
Glorified.
I pointed that out as in to say that even when we talk about these issues in our community, sometimes we have to worry about the little things that we let slide when it's what in our view considered minuscule, because sometimes it can aggravate into such a bigger problem, and then we're like, we don't know where it's coming from, how do we target it, when we can target it from like those basic levels.
Yeah,
I just
So
just a point
y'all know, and this is not even a conspiracy thing. Hip hop was something that is pushed by a larger engine to actually destroy our community. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing, we buy it. We're the biggest consumers of it. There was a reason why, it was a thing where the push was for us to actually talk about D-Rugs, or it was a push for us to talk about, red rumming each other. And you saw more and more of it in the streets of, major cities. It's a push for those things. And now it's no longer 100%. And it's no longer, okay, well, you guys don't really gotta red rum each other as much, but let's over sexualize these women. Now, I still blame the women, right? Because, like Jess said, you're providing it. You ain't got to do it, but women are doing it. So no matter how you look at it, whose fault is it, right? So 100% when I look at when I look at hip hop, when I look at music, when I look at these things, I can't listen to it. I can't even. To me, women have gotten so more demonstrative than the men, and when that happens, that's a problem. When a female rapper could actually talk about what her insides look like, that's a problem.
But here's the thing: let's not forget that we were bopping to lyrics from other artists that were sexual deviants to some degree. Because if you remember, Belle Biv DeVoe on "Do Me Baby," they had a whole lyric that nobody really paid attention to, and we were just jamming. Backstage, underage, adolescent.
Yeah.
How you do? We were jamming, and we shoulder shaking. We in there. You know what I'm saying? So even from the male side, it's become even more deviant, because before it was about the powers that be. We have to fight the power. We have to, bring back, brotherhood, and then it transitioned into NWA, and you see what I'm saying? It continued to do this, this over, advert, either we're killing or we're robbing, or it continuously progressed, and I feel like it's specifically to our communities, like even when they're like looking for like new artists and stuff. Like there was like I watched a couple of documentaries on it, and it showed how some of these people, like when it comes down to like putting certain music in certain demographics on radio stations and stuff, they will literally say no to a particular artist if they feel like the song won't incite a certain type of behavior from the community in which it's playing.
And I think a lot of that, what we're talking about, has to go back to being like educated, right? Because I wouldn't have known half of that, especially about, you were saying like what music used to be when about like sisterhood and stuff like that. I've heard of Lil' Kim and stuff, but I had no idea that rap used to be like that for women. But when you think about it, like there's people that are gonna grow up in like the Chief Keef era, right? To where mumble rap is a thing. So a lot of this stuff that's coming out is being normalized to these people because they don't know the history of what it was in the first place.
Right. We have a reference. They don't.
Right. And it goes back to
and they won't do their history research, because if you're a real musician, if you're really someone who's trying to claim on your craft, you should absolutely understand who these artists is you might be ripping off their sounds from, and what that sound even represented for that time. People don't want to do the work behind. It's kind of like on what was the movie where he kicked him off the band, because he didn't know how to read music. And so he learned how to read it and appreciate the art that he was doing. Drumline, right. He couldn't play on the band until he learned the music. A lot of these kids, they don't they only hear what's out now. They don't even understand where it came from, nor do they care to, because to them it's just entertainment, and that's how they're killing us. They're killing us through our entertainment. If they can keep you entertained long enough to keep you from going to goals and doing things like these smartphones, people use them for a lot of dumb shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of things that you can do, with these devices that can actually exalt you into a different place, and they won't do it because everything is, oh, let me see what they said on Facebook. Like if you're not monetized on Facebook, say a couple of things a day and keep it rolling. You got 8 million things that you need to be getting done in your day, and we're not doing it. We're not focusing.
A wise man named John Gould once told me that America will be destroyed through entertainment. And it's true. It's true. People are gonna literally die like trying to be entertained, and I think that's funny when you bring up the radio thing, because I know Eminem back in the day, they didn't play a lot of his music on the radio. More so when he got like solo. Well, not like solo, but when he really got into his career and he wasn't really saying like the Slim Shady stuff, he was just like, the demon in the back talking to him and all of that. When he really got hard into that, I know he's talked about in his music that they won't play his music on the radio. I guess because it doesn't incite a lot of party-like behavior. It's more like depressing type of energy he'll give you in anger. But yeah, they definitely have an agenda for what they want you to hear, so they can incite a certain type of behavior.
And then what you got to look at is the market, right? The market always wins. So your consumers is what's gonna essentially dictate what's gonna be put out there. So if Eminem was talking like sense, no one wants to hear it. It's not gonna sell. No one wants to hear it, right? And this is way before Eminem, right? This is like you always had like the Commons of the world. You always had those conscious rappers. The most depths. You always had those rappers, but they never could make it mainstream. They will never be as big as, what's his name? Golly, I can't even think about these corny rappers' names now. You know what I'm saying? But even look at a Drake. The fact that Drake is even still relevant today is crazy, only because it's always drama following him, right? And the market loves it. The market wants drama. The market feeds off of it, thrives off of it. The media pushes more of it to you. Before, when I was a kid, you couldn't even say certain words on television. We never heard the word bitch. We never heard hoe. We never heard none of that. Now it's like, let's feed it to them slowly but surely. Real Housewives of Atlanta, all those shows are pushing more and more demonstrative entertainment to us. And we are buying it, eating it, and it's like, it's dessert too. Like, we're loving this.
If you pay attention to entertainment, it will tell you where we're going as a society. And people really 100%. Don't look at that. Like if you look at Back to the Future came out in 83, 84.
Damn.
The future was 2015. When they went to the future, they had flat screen TVs, they had picture-in-picture, they had the video phone, like how we FaceTime. They had that on the camera. They had the air fryer. They had the video doorbell. They even talked about how Biff was going to become president, and Biff was actually modeled after Donald Trump. They had hoverboards. And keep in mind, this movie was a depiction in 1984 about what was happening in 2015. Tell me one of those things that I just told you that we don't have right now.
That's crazy.
No worries, I'll wait.
Nothing. And we got everything you just mentioned and more.
Entertainment is your biggest downfall, especially if you haven't learned how to master your time, where you give yourself that break to unwind and relax, but then understand that if you haven't reached certain goals, the longer you're distracted, which is what they want. If you're distracted, you can't tell that they're turning, this US of hellhole into the Handmaid's Tale. You can't tell that with all the reproductive, laws and stuff that they're changing, and with Project 2025, and you can't pay attention to that because Candy is about to argue with Phaedra about some man that we don't know and don't care about a business that none of us own, driving in cars that none of us got. But somehow we're plugged in every single time. Thank God I don't watch the stuff.
And like,
But at
and
the same
kid,
time, it matters.
that makes it very hard. Like something like that, like for me, because like I'm 28. So sometimes it like now in my older life, sometimes it is hard to even have a conversation with
She
people.
said older life, y'all. She
Older
said
life.
older
I'm
life.
like, girl.
I'm getting
What?
older.
Like,
Where we
isn't she
at
the
then? Where
youngest
we
one on
at?
this panel?
Older
Isn't
life.
she the youngest one on this
Yeesh.
panel?
I
Lord
am
have
Lord.
getting
mercy.
older,
Older.
you guys.
Ugh,
That's crazy.
Said,
ouch.
in my older life,
Ouch.
girl.
We
Well, then in our
Damn.
ancient life,
in this.
guys.
No, I'm just trying to get used to adulting 100%. But it makes it very hard to even have conversations and have genuine friendships with people because I like to have these types of conversations, but they more so interested in, like you said, candy and them about to do this and that. So it always makes me the very odd one out because
See?
now it's almost like I have to blend in almost and act like I know what they talk about, or just don't say nothing at all. And even for my YouTube channel, it's been hard to gain like traction because I don't care about all of that stuff. That's that superficial stuff that's out there. Like I want to talk about the real deal, like that 2025, like what Bill Gates is doing, what the WHO organization doing, and just where we headed as a society. You know, how do we become better? How do we get over betrayal and trauma? So like people are just people. It's like It's like self medication is now used with entertainment. Like they just drown out everything that's real, anything that's real.
I agree. I agree. So listen, we in a little bit of overtime, but I'm gonna end the show now. We will pick this up next Tuesday for Grown Woman Talking. This was a good conversation, y'all. This was definitely a good conversation. And I'm looking forward to continuing to grow this show, specifically Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Tune in. YouTube handle Grown Men Talking. Follow everyone on the panel. Everyone has something great and interesting to add. It's value to me.
Yep.
This conversation, we was able to touch a lot of different topics. It got heated at some points. You know, me and my wife, we have this row moment with each other, and she be ready to bite my head off, and I gotta be like, "Yo, chill, son." You know what I'm saying? Calm down, son. She actually looking at me, right?
It's all right. Pent up is the most fun later.
There better be some foot
But,
rubs in about the next 30 minutes. You know what I know. But
Oh, she gonna put her foot on my shoulders. She gonna put her foot on my shoulders. So,
Yo, bringing it back.
Oh my goodness.
Well, if that's how you're gonna end the show, that's the way you end the show. Then.
Right.
This was a good show, though. This was a good show. I appreciate everyone showing up on the panel. Big ups to all of y'all. We're gonna see y'all again next week. We had one more part, but we in overtime, and I gotta go to bed, yo. I got a job. I actually gotta work, y'all. So until next time, YouTube. Peace.